Stampers, I'm Nancy Novak from Stampin' Shout, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and I share my card projects that I make using Stampin' Up products. And today I'm really excited because I'm going to show you a fun fold. And I haven't seen this fun fold around too much, so I'm excited to share it with you. And I'm using some last chance products. So grab them while you can because they will be gone, and you can get them at a great value right now, nice discount. So that is always great. So I'm using the Stippled Roses stamps, the dies, the Countryside Corner dies. Now I love these because they're very versatile. You can use them for so many things. I have a lot of videos out there showing you cards that I made using these dies right here. And then we're going to use the Countryside Inn Designer Series paper. I'll post a picture of this also on my blog, just to show you all the different pretty blue papers that are in that Designer Series pack. $10 for a pack of that Designer Series paper, the nice big double-sided 12 by 12. So again, last chance products. Go check them out before they're gone. And I'll have all the links in the description below my video. So here's today's card. So it's a 5 by 5 square card, and it's an easel card. So it would open up like this. And you can then prop it up so you can display it on the counter or wherever you want. And I just love making easel cards. And again, I love this blue paper. I made a Mother's Day card because that is coming up very quickly. But of course, you can create this for any occasion. In fact, tonight's card, I am going to switch it up and I'm going to make a happy birthday card. So let's bring out the supplies. So for the base, I have a piece of white that is 10 inches by 5 inches. I'm using Misty Moonlight layers that are 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. And then I have a piece of Designer Series paper that is 4 1/2 by 4 1/2. And I have a piece of white for the inside that's 4 1/2 by 4 1/2. Then I have a piece of white that I cut with the Countryside Corners die. And I have a little scrap of the Misty Moonlight. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to score this card base. And we're going to score it at 5 inches. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to score it from the top left corner down to the score line. So again, top left corner down to the score line. So I have on my scoreboard a little dark line. I did it right at the 6-inch point, so I can kind of easily follow that diagonal line. So I'm going to start right up there in the corner, and I have my score line down there at the bottom. And that's how we're going to score it, okay? I want to mention, stick around to the end because I'm going to show you how to make an envelope for this too. So I think that'll be very helpful. Of course, with a card like this, you can, if you're going to hand it to, you can hand it to somebody, or you can throw it in a present. So when they open it up, it's there. It's a very pretty card. So here is my Designer Series paper, and I need to cut this on a diagonal. So mine has a direction. So I want to make sure that the direction's going up and down. So on the Designer Series paper, we're going to cut from the top right corner to the bottom left corner. So I'm just lining it up on the cutter. And now I have my diagonal pieces. Okay, so let's bring our card front in. So we have the center score line. So we're just going to fold that over. Okay, so we folded it there. Now we're going to take this one and we're going to fold it up, just like that. Okay, so that's all you have to do. Fold it like you normally would fold it. And then this diagonal piece, we're going to fold up. Okay, we're going to bring this piece in. We have to cut this on a diagonal also. So this is just a solid piece, so it doesn't matter which way you cut it, but you're going to cut it corner to corner. Okay, so we're going to take our Designer Series paper, and we're going to go ahead and glue it to our triangle layer pieces. And again, I want to look at it. I'm making sure that the birds are going in the right direction. So this was the way it was, straight up like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue them to the layering pieces. Okay, so we're going to bring on our card front, and we're going to go ahead and glue these pieces right on to the front of the card. Okay, so far so good, right? Okay, I'm going to bring a scrap in and we're going to do a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to ink up the great big rose image, and we're also going to stamp the little rose image. And I'm doing that again in Night of Navy. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm bringing the dies, and this die set has the two big dies that will cut out these pieces, and it has a lot of extra really pretty detailed leaves and flowers that you can cut out, really pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and line these up and cut them out, and I will fast forward and I will be right back. Okay, so I have our two roses cut out, and now we're going to do a little bit more stamping. I want to stamp our front sentiment on that little scrap right there, and we're going to heat emboss it. So I'm going to use Versamark and white embossing powder. And on the front, I'm stamping Happy Birthday, and I'm using the Country Bird Side Sentiments, or the stamp set, and I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday on the front, and the inside we're going to stamp Hoping You're Having the Best Day Ever. So we're going to stamp this one, like I said, in Versamark, and then on the inside we're going to stamp in Night of Navy. So I'll just pour the little bit of embossing powder on here and then heat it up. Okay, we're going to trim that down when we get to it. Okay, so we're going to do the front of the card, and then we're going to stamp on the inside. So I have this little piece that I cut out, and I'm going to go ahead and glue our pretty rose image to the front of that. And again, I have a project sheet, so if you subscribe to my newsletter, right after the video, I will send you the project sheet, and it goes right to your email address. So it's nice and easy. You don't have to search for it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is this is where it's going to end up when it's all done. It's going to be centered just like that. But I'm just going to kind of flip it over because I just want to put glue on the bottom, not on the top. So I'm kind of following this diagonal line. I have it kind of positioned where I want it to be. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here on the bottom. But again, I just want a little bit of glue at the bottom, not at the top. Okay, we have our glue on there. Now we're going to open it up. We're going to come back to the front in a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and glue our layer piece down. And we're going to stamp on the white piece. Okay, so here's our white piece. And I'm going to bring this piece in, and I'm going to pop it up on dimensionals. Just one dimensional. Oh, two. I'm going to pop it up on 2 dimensionals. And I'm going to place it right down here in the bottom corner. That's going to create our little pop-up piece for our easel, so the card stands up. Now I'm going to stamp our sentiment, and again I'm using the Hope You Have the Best Day Ever. I'm going to stamp that in Night of Navy. And I'm just going to stamp it on an angle just because I think that'll be pretty with this card. It'll kind of flow with all the angles that are in the card. And now I'm going to go ahead and glue this to the inside of the card. Okay, so let me show you. We got to put our little sentiment on the front. And this is just a little bit too wide. I don't want it that wide, so I'm going to cut that down. So I used my little cutter here, and I know everyone doesn't have this little cutter, but with a strip this small, it's very easy to cut a straight line with your snips. So you don't necessarily have to use your cutter. And I'm gonna pop that up right there on the angle. Okay, now I'm going to bring in some rhinestones. We'll add a couple rhinestones here. Okay, so a triangle easel card. I love this. I love sending easel cards. I know who this is going to. Won't be sending it out until almost July, but I think it's a really, really cool card. So we got the happy birthday, or we got happy Mother's Day. So on this one I put lots of love, and that is from Delightful Wishes. So aren't they cool? I just love them. But again, it's 5 by 5. So it's not going to fit in a regular envelope, but I'm going to show you how to make an envelope. If you're enjoying today's video, don't forget to click that like button. I know sometimes we get engrossed with watching it and we forget to click that like button, but it would really, really help me out a lot. It really helps my YouTube channel grow. Plus, I like to leave a comment. I like to know what you think about today's projects. So I'm going to cut this to 8 by 8. I'm doing mine on a piece of white, just so you guys can see it a little bit better. I may draw some of the lines as we're making it together, but they're really, really pretty in designer series paper also. So I'm going to bring in my scoreboard, and I'm going to take the point and I'm going to put it right at 5 3/4. And like I said, you remember me saying I made a dark line? That's my 6-inch line. So 5 1/4 I know is two little divots over to the left, and I'm going to use that for the bottom part because I don't have any numbers at the bottom. So I just went ahead and counted over 1, 2, and I put the point at the bottom right there. So they're both at 5 3/4. Let me bring this down so you can't see all of it, but 5 3/4 at the top, 5 3/4 at the bottom. Now what we're going to do is we're going to score at 3 1/8 and 8 3/8. So I got my 8 3/8 right here. Make sure it's all lined up. The points are lined up. And I'm just going to score it at 8 3/8 and 3 1/8. Okay, now I'm going to turn it again. And again, I'm going to put the point at 5 3/4. And then the bottom, I'm going to put it 5 3/4. And I just go ahead and I count over 2 little divots. Make sure they're both lined up at 5 3/4. And then again, we're going to score at 8 3/8 and 3 1/8. Okay, so right now there is a little triangle where the score lines crossed, and we're going to go ahead and cut those little notches out. Okay, I'm just going to fold up on all the little score lines. And I'm going to fold the sides in, and I'm going to fold the bottom one up. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue and fold it all up, and we'll have the bottom of our envelope. Now, of course, you can use tear and tape, or you can use your seal, but I'm going to use glue. And I'm just going to hold it there and make sure it sets before I do anything else. Okay, let's bring our card in. Fits in there perfectly. It's got lots of room. And then if I was going to mail this, I would seal it better. If I'm giving it in a gift, I would just put a little glue dot there, which I'm not going to do that right now. But then again, you can decorate this, of course. So let's go ahead and just stamp on our envelope. Take my card out. And there you go. We have our square envelope to go with our square card. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's project. Give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any of my new videos. Again, I'm here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Stop by my blog for big pictures of tonight's projects. And last but not least, Stampin' Up! Has a new reward program. So when you shop, you earn 10% on your purchase. No host code is needed, and even better, those rewards can be saved so you can use them whenever you want to make a purchase. And I thank you so much for joining me tonight and supporting my small business. Don't be shy. Stamp and Shout.